I see so many engineers in particular getting stuck after divorce. I know that seems like a really specific demographic to be singling out, but I am a coach. I help men move on from divorce. That's my job. And a very large proportion, I would say close to half of my clients are engineers, right? So they're coming to me because they're stuck, because that problem-solving, rational, logical engineer brain is not successful in helping them move on after their divorce. So I started to notice this pattern in my coaching practice, and I started trying to understand, what is it? What is it specifically that is making so many deeply intelligent, critical thinking men, what's keeping them stuck? What's making them unable to move on from their divorce? So that's what this video is about. I'm going to share what I learned, because there is something about the brain, about the way that engineers use their brain, that keeps them stuck. And that Achilles heel of how they think, of how they problem solve, can actually be an incredible resource in moving on from divorce once they understand how. So this probably doesn't apply only to engineers, right? Anyone whose brain works in a very logical, rational, problem-solving way might experience the same thing. I happen to see it a lot with engineers, all different kinds of engineers across the board. So what happens is that engineer brain is all about solving a problem, right? It's about looking at a system, whether that's software or a machine or a city. It's looking at a system and figuring out where things are going wrong. Where is something not working? Where is information not flowing? Where is traffic not flowing? Where is something getting stuck? Where is a machine broken? It's about understanding how all of the different pieces work together to make something happen, and identifying the places where it's broken and fixing it. So that's how a lot of engineers approach their divorce. They want to understand it, and they want to understand what happened. They want to understand what went wrong, what was broken, why they were unable to fix it at the time. So often that takes the form of wanting to understand their ex-wife's decisions. Right? Why did she choose this? Where did this come from? I didn't see it coming. It happened out of the blue. Right? Also, why did she not give me a chance once I did see it? Why wouldn't she give me a chance to fix it? Why couldn't we go to therapy? Why couldn't we work on this together? Why did it have to be over? And they need to understand what went wrong, understand her decisions, make sense of how they got there, for usually one of two reasons. Usually there is at least a small, and sometimes not so small, part of them that hopes that it can still be fixed. But if I can just understand clearly enough the problem, maybe it's not too late to go in and repair that system. Maybe I can reconcile. Maybe there's a tiny hope she'll come back. Or if there is no hope and I've somehow been able to accept that, which most people haven't at this stage, you guys, even if it's several years out from that divorce, most of the engineers I work with, their brains have not fully accepted that there isn't a hope it could be fixed. That's what makes them such great problem solvers and so good at their jobs. There has to be a solution if there's a problem. So hopefully we can get her back. But if not, I still need to understand where the system was broken and how to fix it so that I can build a better system in the future. And if I'm ever going to have another relationship again, I don't want it to end this way. So I need to understand the system to fix the problem. It sounds so rational, right? It sounds like it should work. It doesn't work. You guys, it does not work that way. Understanding it, breaking down the system, figuring out where the problem is. If you apply that kind of thinking to understanding your divorce in order to get unstuck, in order to get out of the pain and the overwhelm and the despair and the depression and the hurt that you're feeling, it's not going to work. I can say that with confidence because I see it not working over and over for my clients. 3 years, 6 years, one guy even 12 years after his divorce. All of that thinking and understanding and conscious knowing what went wrong didn't get him out of the emotional pain that was ruining his life. It was stopping him from moving forward in his career. It was stopping him from moving into a new relationship. And worst of all, it was stopping him from being fully present and engaged with his children. So don't despair, because there is something you can do. And actually the problem-solving power of your brain to understand a system and identify where to intervene to fix something is going to help you. Because right now, you're trying to fix the wrong element in the system. Right? If you are, and I apologize because I should know more about what all different kinds of engineers do, but if you're like the kind of engineer who's planning out like traffic patterns, you're working on the wrong light. You're trying to fix a place That's not the source of the problem. So let me explain what you can do. You're trying to use a part of your brain, the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, conscious part of the brain responsible for understanding, logic, rational thought. You're trying to use that to talk to the limbic system, which is the source of your pain. The limbic system is the emotional brain. Many of the engineers I work with and talk to tell me that they spend a lot of time in their heads. And they understand certain things, but it doesn't seem to impact how they feel, right? They're tortured by pain, by grief, by overwhelm, by shame, by regret, by resentment, by depression. The whole list of emotional states they could be in goes on and on and on. You know this, right? And they're feeling what I'm doing up here isn't fixing what's happening down in here, down in this emotional brainstem area and in my body. It's too painful and I can't make it stop. That's because you're speaking to your emotional brain in the wrong language. Your dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, the understanding brain, has no direct neural pathways. No physical neurons run from that part of your brain to the limbic system. You can't talk directly to it. Now, you can, in a very roundabout loop, get to the emotional brain through your rational thought and understanding. That's a lot of work. You have to go through the level of belief. So for your thoughts, for the way you understand something, to change an emotion, you have to believe it fully on a very, very deep level. And the reality is that when we understand something new, we see our role in what went wrong. We understand how she might have felt alone in the marriage and chose something else. We get that intellectually. It doesn't change our baseline belief. Those beliefs are strong. We have developed them over a lifetime. They say things like, marriage is forever. Till death do us part. My job, my role, my identity is husband, father, provider. Those are foundational beliefs about who you are and how the world works. Understanding something in a new way, a new perspective, is not going to shake those beliefs, right? So you can, with a lot of intention and focus and curiosity and exploration, you can change those foundational beliefs. You can start to communicate with your emotional brain through the level of belief, but that's a big undertaking. And even as I describe it, some of your rational problem-solving brains are not going to like what I'm saying, because it's going to be like, well, I don't want to lie to myself. I believe those things because they're true. It's not easy to change a belief, right? Your brain's going to have so much resistance to that. So that's not an efficient way to fix your pain, right? If that's what you have to do to get there, you are going to be struggling for years to problem solve this. There is a much faster way. You have to learn to speak a language that your emotional brain can understand more directly. So if you want to stop the pain, you have to use a different part of your conscious brain. You have to use the medial prefrontal cortex. That is the part of your brain that is responsible for awareness, conscious awareness. So if I ask you to notice your right foot, just do it right now. What does your right foot feel like? You can feel it. Right? A minute ago, you didn't feel it. You weren't aware of it. But when you intentionally focus on any part of your body, you can notice what it feels like. There's sensation there. It might be tight or heavy or loose, or maybe you don't even have words to describe it. It just is a sensation that my foot is there in space. That's the part of your conscious mind that can communicate with your limbic system, the part that is consciously aware of how you feel and what you feel. Not the part that understands why, the part that understands how, that sees it. The thing is, most engineers are really good engineers because they don't use that part of their brain very much. They use that understanding, rational, logical, problem-solving, dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. They don't use that awareness piece. In fact, that might have been one of your wife's complaints that led to the divorce, right? That you weren't emotionally intelligent, that you didn't understand what she was feeling. You may also relate to the experience of not really knowing what you feel so deeply, or of being kind of unaware of the intricacies of your own emotional landscape. Can you separate out anxiety from sadness, from fear, from regret, from guilt, from shame, right? Those can be very strange words, right? Like what is shame? What is fear or anxiety or sadness? How do I quantify and define that? And if you don't have the proper understanding of the system to understand that, a lot of those intelligent scientific engineer brains decide to just not worry about that so much. Let's focus on the problems we can solve. Let's not worry so much about that ephemeral world of emotions that we can't identify. So here's where I start when I work with an engineer. I help them understand the system of their emotions and the relationship between their emotional experience, which happens in the body, and their brain. The limbic system, these different parts of the brain, the conscious mind that can communicate or have difficulty communicating with that part of the brain. Because once you understand the system, now you'll understand where to intervene, and you'll see that if you've been trying to understand your way out of emotional pain by understanding the divorce, you'll see why you aren't getting anywhere, because that's the wrong way into the system. So if you're an engineer and you're stuck after divorce, it's because you're focusing on the wrong part. You think you already know where the problem is. Well, that's not totally true. You don't think you know exactly where the problem is. You're trying to understand your way into figuring out why you're stuck in your pain. But you need to go about it a different way. You're attacking the problem from the wrong angle. You need to take a step back, understand the entirety of the system a little bit better, the emotional and mental system that you're living in your body, and then you'll see how to start to intervene. And it's through that conscious awareness that you can speak directly into the emotional systems in your body and start to get relief from that pain. Thank you so much for watching. If you're an engineer who went through divorce, there's hope. You can move past this. But if you're not careful, your brain is going to try to keep you stuck. So whatever got you here, the way of thinking, the way of understanding the system that got you to this place, it's not going to get you to the other side of this pain. So I hope, if anything, this video has opened you up to the possibility that maybe there's another way of understanding your own internal world. If you found this video helpful, then you have to check out my free masterclass, How to Take Back Control of Your Life After Divorce. In that hour-long masterclass, I go into way more detail than I can cover on these YouTube videos about how specifically to start to heal, to stop the painful emotions, regain your confidence, and take back control of your future. I break it down into steps and give you a lot of actionable items that you can start using right now today to start feeling better. You'll find the link in the video description below under free masterclass, How to Take Back Control of Your Life After Divorce. I hope to see you on the masterclass and in the next video here on YouTube. Thanks for watching.